Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. President Bola Tinubu has approved major changes in the leadership of Nigeria's armed forces in a move aimed at strengthening the nation's security architecture. In a statement issued on Friday by Sunday Dari, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Public Communication, Tinubu named Olufemi Oloyede as the new Chief of Defense Staff, replacing Christopher Musa, while Major General W. Shaibu has been appointed to serve as Chief of Army Staff. Also in the new arrangement, Air Vice Marshal S.K. Anike takes over as Chief of Air Staff and Rear Admiral I. Abbas assumes office as Chief of Naval Staff. The Chief of Defense Intelligence, Major General E.A.P. Udienye, retains his position. The President commended the outgoing service chiefs for their patriotic service and dedicated leadership, while urging the new appointees to justify the confidence reposed in them and to uphold the professionalism, vigilance, and unity that define the armed forces of Nigeria. All appointments take immediate effect. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, has criticized the governors of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for excluding him from key decisions, warning that the party risks collapse if it persists with this approach. Wike made the remarks during a media parley in Abuja on Friday, lamenting his exclusion from major consultations despite his long-standing role in the PDP.
Have I not said before now that the booby trap you are setting will consume you? Have I not told you before now? The way these present governors are doing, they will bury this party. Have I not said before now that as opposition, we don't need to add with impurity? Look, I'm an FCT minister, for Christ's sake. Forget about whatever you think. Are you telling me, as it is today, because I'm not a governor, you go and hold PDP meeting, you call them stakeholders, and then you exclude me, and then you want to survive? No, okay, assuming I'm not even the FCT minister, by the role I have played in PDP till now, simply because I'm not a governor, I cannot be consulted in taking decision of the party? Certainly not. Certainly not. So, when you say let me tell you, and I have told them, and just mark it, all this what you are calling APC, calling this and that, is barbarous, rubbish. Rubbish. Is it the APC that's making you to take the wrong decision? Is it the APC that's making you to take the wrong decision? What is there? You mean me, I will sit, and then 2-3 people said because they are governors, they are getting so much allocation. Then you go and decide, and then you tell me, follow. Follow who?
Speaking on the party's planned national convention, Wike said the leadership had failed to complete necessary congresses and other key processes, which he claimed were stalling progress. The PDP has in recent months faced internal crisis and a wave of defections involving top members such as Peter Mba, Oborewori, and Umueno. The party is also battling multiple legal suits over its forthcoming convention. The crisis within the Social Democratic Party (SDP) has deepened as the National Working Committee expelled top officials, including former National Chairman Shehu Musa Gabam and National Youth Leader Ogbonna Chukwuma Uchechukwu, over allegations of misconduct, financial misappropriation and abuse of office. The decision followed months of investigation and disciplinary proceedings concluded at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja. National Publicity Secretary Rufus Ainigba, who read the communique, said the action came after the adoption of a disciplinary committee's report and a white paper reviewing its findings. He recalled that the affected officers were earlier suspended in June over a prima facie case of misconduct and financial impropriety. After a 2-week probe and formal review, the NWC endorsed their expulsion, signaling a major shakeup in the SDP's leadership structure. The Nigerian police have allegedly assaulted and rearrested activist Omoyele Sowore outside the Kuje Magistrate Court. Police officers reportedly dragged Sowore into a waiting vehicle despite the bail earlier granted him by the court. Clearview News' Imefunokun has the details.
The latest update on Sowere's rearrest took place moments after the magistrate approved bail for Sowore and 13 others. As his legal team worked to finalize his bail conditions, police officers led by the investigating police officer IPO CSP Ilyas Subaro, officer in charge of anti-vice under the DCCID FCT command, allegedly attacked Sowore, punched and forced him into a police van. Eyewitnesses said the activist resisted when officers attempted to take him away without providing any explanation, citing a secret remand order.
There was a barrage of police officers with heavy trucks, with pickups, with hillocks, mounted all over the environment, blockading the courts, the access to the court. And only lawyers were allowed to come in. Then we approached court, and the matter of Sowore and 13 others, including our lawyer Jimako, Okere, Kingdom, and others, were called up. We applied, after the FIR was read to them, we applied for their bail. The court was gracious enough to grant them bail on very liberal terms. Now, having granted bail, the correctional officers moved some of the detainees back to Kuje prison, whereas Sowore was allowed to remain behind so as to fulfill his bail condition because his shorty was already on ground. While the shorty was fulfilling the bail condition, a policeman came around claiming that he has a remand order. Sowore was sitting under this mango tree here, claiming he has a remand order to detain Sowore. And Sowore was like, "Show me the order you have." He brought out a piece of paper, flashed it. Sowore said, "Wait, let me read it. Let me be sure it relates to me." The policeman squeezed the paper, put it in his pocket, and said Sowore should move. Sowore said he can't go anywhere unless he sees the remand order. While they were still talking, the next thing, all the policemen in the environment, more than 100 of them, came into this court compound, surrounded this mango tree where we were all sitting. And the next thing is, they grabbed Sowore by the neck. Some were holding his shirt, some were holding his leg. You know, they were rough handling him. They pushed him until they crashed into this woman's food shop. I don't know what to call it, where he sells food. This is his table. Okay, let me show you. That's the woman's table. They broke it, fell her way, scattered everything. The woman is there. They destroyed her properties for no just cause.
So I came in here. At that point, Sowore was sitting right there, and with his lawyers and a few people, they were standing right behind. And you know, all of a sudden, some guy shows up with a white kaftan, and he had a white hat on, and another guy had a brown kaftan on, and he just said, "Oh, something like, I guess he had to cut some kind of remand order or something like that." And then they said, "Show us the order." The man had in his pocket. He said, "No." First of all, he came. He said, "No filming me here. Everybody, shut your camera down." As he was talking, his militarized police were all over the place. He said, "Anybody film here, we'll go arrest him." I think they took somebody in the back. I wasn't privy to that. But you know, and then they say, show us the court order. He had the thing in his pocket. It's like, see, I'm here, see, I'm here. The lawyer say, let us see what do you want to take him to. And all of a sudden, boom, they just bundle him, run him over this woman's table. Just so total toggery, unnecessary. These are police officers. Is that how you run the show?
It was not only Mr. Shore that was affected in this chaos that the police demonstrated here today. Lawyers were affected. Lawyers were injured. Lawyers were arrested. Ordinary Nigerians who wanted to capture the experience of what was happening today were arrested and bundled out of this place simply for videoing the situation with their phone. People who were trading were beaten and their goods were destroyed in these premises today. Lawyers who came to represent a lawyer who came to represent the client here today was arrested because he was calling his client and said, okay, court is now sitting. Where are you now? They bundled him away that nobody should use phone because the police were in the premises and they were afraid of being videoed or being captured on tape because of the manner they were conducting themselves. So it is the highest level of...
Earlier, a magistrate court sitting in Kuje, Abuja had granted bail to human rights Sowore alongside several protesters arrested during the #Free Nnamdi Kanu Now protest in the Federal Capital Territory. The court, presided over by Magistrate Abubakar Umar, issued the bail order on Friday after the defendants were arraigned on charges bordering on unlawful assembly and disturbance of public peace. According to the ruling, the court granted Sowore and the other protesters bail in the sum of 500,000 naira each, subject to the condition that they present a verified national identification number. The magistrate also directed the defendants to present their 3-year tax clearance certificate and submit their passport as part of the bail conditions. Those granted bail include Aloy Ajumoko, lawyer to the detained IPOP leader Nnamdi Kanu, his brother Prince Emmanuel Kanu, and 11 others. Recall that Sowore was arrested on Thursday by operatives of the Nigeria Police Force after leaving the Federal High Court in Abuja. His arrest has drawn widespread criticism from civil society organizations and human rights groups who described it as another attempt to suppress dissent and silence activism. Imefonu reporting for Clever News.
Now, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, says he will not appear as a witness in the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, simply because his name was listed in the newspapers. Wike, however, said he will comply without hesitation only if the court formally summons him to testify or provide evidence. Clever News Imefunu Kon has the details.
The minister made the remarks this Friday during a media parley in Abuja, stating that nobody has served him any process to appear as Kanu's witness in court. When asked if he knew why Nnamdi Kanu listed him as one of his witnesses, Wike responded that he did not, adding that only the IPOP leader could explain.
You don't become a witness by reading newspaper. Nobody has served me any process. Nobody has subpoenaed me. So because I saw Wike's listed, therefore, I'm going to run helter skelter. No, you don't do that. If I am served, if I'm subpoenaed to come and give witness or to give evidence, I must obey the court. I must appear. But not on pages of the newspaper. Nobody does that.
Excellency,
and so as to why I should be listed, he who chooses me there, you should ask him the question. But if I am invited, if I'm supposed to come, go home and sleep. I will be there.
Kanu, who is facing terrorism charges in the Abuja Federal High Court, listed Wike among other top names as compellable witnesses in his ongoing trial. Others listed as witnesses by the IPOP leader are a former Minister of Defense, General Theophilus Danjuma, a former Chief of Army Staff, General Tukur Protai, as well as Babajide Sanwo-Olu and Hope Uzodinma, governors of Lagos and Imo State, respectively. He further listed the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, and the immediate past governor of Abia State, Ogoesi Ikpeazu. Imefonu Kon, reporting for Clever News.
The House of Representatives has called on the federal government to work with state authorities to regulate house rents across Nigeria, describing current practices as wanton exploitation of tenants. The resolution was passed during Thursday's plenary session following a motion sponsored by Honorable Basi Akiba, a lawmaker representing Cross River State. Presenting the motion, Akiba said Nigeria's harsh economic conditions have worsened the plight of renters, with many struggling to meet increasing accommodation costs. He noted that rents often experience a sudden surge in areas where the government constructs public infrastructure such as roads or markets. Akiba warned that unchecked rent increases not only erode citizens' welfare but also defeats the purpose of government infrastructure projects intended to improve living conditions. He urged the government to strike a balance between the rights of landlords and the welfare of tenants to ensure fairness, stability, and sustainability in the housing sector. And that's the news. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta. Have a wonderful weekend and bye for now.